tonight. Root work tonight. Root work tonight. Root work tonight. I'll be feeling so right. I got that root work tonight. Feeling fresh from the morning light. Root work hit me, I'm set for the night. Look good, smell right. Yeah, I'm that type. I gotta let the world know I got that root work tonight. Root work tonight. Yeah, root work tonight. I'll be feeling so right. I got that root work tonight.
Boom, there it is. What's up, man? I'm here. What's happening? Hold on one second. Just letting everybody know on social media that I'm live right now, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on? And everybody give me a retweet. Excuse me. It would be great if you all can give me a retweet in the building, ladies and gentlemen, while I let everybody know that I'm live right now. All right. Just letting my social medias know what time it is. Ladies and gentlemen, glad to have y'all up in here. And we're ready to do what we supposed to do. I didn't do a live here last week. I didn't do my live last week because I was still kind of jet lagged from traveling. But I'm here now. Oh, yes, I am. And you're here. And I need everybody to hit that like button. I need everybody to hit that subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that like and hit that subscribe button while I throw this on my social media. I got one more to throw it on, and then we're going to be good to go. And a lot of deep stuff we're going to get into on this broadcast. And while you guys are letting folks know we're here, don't forget to go get the best deodorant on the planet. That is Rootwork. And you can get that at rootworkstyle.com. It's infused with that High John the Conqueror root. And we're going to get into that on this broadcast tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Let me throw this one thing up and then I'm good to go. And then I'm going to look in the room and see who we have. Let me look in the room and see who all we got up in here. All right, shout out. We got a lot of the FBA family up in here. Shout out to the FBA family in here. Ladies and gentlemen, I got on my Majara shirt because we're going to be talking about that Majara spirit on this broadcast. Let me see where my mods. I see my good brother Michael Wharton is in the building. Oh, tomorrow is going to be Malcolm X's birthday. Happy early birthday to Malcolm X, the late, great Malcolm X. So everybody, if you're not following me on Twitter or X, y'all need to follow me at Tariq Nasheed. You need to be subscribed to this channel, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe to this channel. And hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Let me see, just waiting on the room to get piled up a little bit because they probably got me, you know, they kind of shadow ban and do little games like that. It takes people a little minute to get up in the room. But waiting on more folks to get on up in here. Sometimes it takes a minute. Nikki the God is in the building. Shout out to Nikki the God. Much love and respect to you. Well, a lot of stuff we're going to get into this evening. Family, first of all, got to give a shout out to, again, to our good brother Ryan Coogler. His movie Sinners has gone over the $300 million mark worldwide. It has grossed over $300 million worldwide. Let me look at the exact numbers for our brother. Hold on, let me look that up real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on. Let me look up sinners real quick. Let me get the exact numbers. I'm very, very proud and happy for that brother. He is a power player in the game. So yeah, it's at $314 million worldwide. They are saying that Sinners is the third highest grossing horror film in history, from what I'm understanding. If I got the narrative right, this is what I've heard. This is what they said. It's like one of the third highest grossing, something like that. Something like that. So I'm shadow banned. Okay, so yeah, YouTube is not showing the notifications that I'm live right now. So everybody, you gotta go. Well, just give me a retweet. Let's do it like that. Everybody give me a retweet. People are slowly gonna find the room because YouTube is not giving any notifications, and that's all right. That's all right. Just let everybody know that we're in the room, ladies and gentlemen. Also, it's the third horror film in American sales. Okay, got it. You went to watch it again today? Good. Continue to watch that movie. I'm going to go again. I saw it twice. I'm going to see it again. There's so many things in that movie that we miss. You got to see it multiple times. The movie is so layered. And that's what we're going to talk about on this broadcast tonight. We're going to tie that movie in because it's so much good game in it. And we have to understand the parasitic, vampire-like relationship the white supremacists have with us. We're going to go deep. Now, family, y'all been seeing this narrative on social media about black fatigue, where these white supremacists are talking about how they're just tired of black people and all our behavior and our culture and all of this stuff. Let me play some stuff for you, family. Let me give you an example of some of these black fatigue narratives that these suspected white supremacists are putting out. I found this one in particular very interesting by this suspected white supremacist woman. Hold on. Hold on.
Black fatigue is when I can hear you 10 miles away in Walmart with your...
Hold on. They can hear us 10 miles away and 10 aisles away in Walmart. Okay. Yeah, we've seen the ratchet white people fighting in Walmart too. Okay.
Your 5 fucking kids. Black fatigue is when you have no home training and you have no idea how to act in public. And
well, that would be you white supremacists. The white supremacists do a lot of projecting. This is a lot of projecting from the white supremacists.
a lot of it is culture. I've been in the hood. I've been in the fucking schools and the projects where I was the only white girl there. And
okay, let's pause that for a minute. When these suspected white supremacists have all of these anti-black views and they talk about how they've been in the hood and been in the projects and all of that stuff, their only reference to black culture is the underbelly of black society. If that's your only reference, that's something that you seek that out. You have to seek that out. I don't believe this woman lived in the projects or whatever. I don't believe that. But their only reference to black society is the hood and the projects. So one sector of black society is the only sector that makes you comfortable because that justifies your stereotypes. Black society is not regulated to the hood and the projects. In fact, the projects were created for white people. Black people were forced into the projects. So if there's anything about the projects, you got to put the projects in context. Foundational black Americans and then black people in general were forced into the damn projects by you white supremacists. We had our own land. We had land, farms, houses, all types of things. Your white supremacist brethren, your violent ancestors, and not even ancestors, violent relatives, grandparents who were still alive, because this wasn't too long ago, they would use the system of white supremacy to take our land, which they still do. They still do it now. They take our land and finesse our land, and they got the military to back that up. And they start talking about urban renewal and all this stuff. And we were put into the projects. All right, so we just got to put everything in context when these white supremacists get to spewing their gibberish. All right? We play some more.
And I can 100% guarantee you that it's culture. When majority of y'all know someone who has been unalived by another black person, way more than any instance of a black person being unjustifiably unalived by the police, that's black fatigue. As well as donating to Carmelo Anthony and Rodney Hinton Jr. When you aren't able to hold your own community accountable, that's a problem.
Yeah, because we're subjugated by the white supremacists. So when we do great, your community sabotages our communities. All right? Let's be real. Anytime we do something great or prosperous, your community is the first one to come in and sabotage it. So yes, you're accountable for everything negative that happens anywhere in black society. All right? It is your fault. Yes, it is.
We're not going to sit here and act like this is new now, because now white people are speaking out. Especially when we've been told for so long to feel sorry for our whiteness and that we have white tea privilege.
Y'all have never felt sorry for being white supremacists. What year did y'all feel sorry or feel bad about being white supremacists? What year? You've always practiced white supremacy. When have you felt bad about that? All right? Hold on.
Whatever the fuck that means, for something no white person alive today did.
Yeah, you're doing it now. You haven't changed. You're practicing the same white supremacy that your ancestors practiced. You didn't change anything.
And no black person alive today has experienced. There is no way that y'all thought that we would be quiet for this long, you know?
Quiet when? Okay, hold on. I'm just unpacking this stuff in real time. You white supremacists have never been quiet about anti-black racism and saying that black people are the problem. Y'all been saying that we've been a problem since the 1600s. You've never been quiet about that. Y'all have been putting laws, the first anti-black laws in the North American continent started in the 1600s. Then 1700s, 1800s. You never stop talking about black people are the problem. After slavery, y'all were talking about the Negro problem. You have think tanks and all types of studies and funds and resources going into studying black pathologies. You've never been quiet about you talking about how much of a problem black people are. So what's this we've been quiet stuff? You've never been quiet. We've always been the problem to you white supremacists. All right? I'm just putting everything she's saying in context. Hold on. Let me play the rest. Hold on.
Now, having us on our knees, kissing BLM's feet, still begging for the reparations that you are not fucking owed because you...
Oh, yes, we are. We are, and we're going to get it. You're not going to shame us out of reparations. We are going to get it. Yes, we are.
Did not go through what your ancestors went through. Nobody cared about race until you started blaming white people for all of your current problems. We're just untolerating it.
Okay, so these white supremacists are delusional. They think they're going to try to punk us out because we're on that reparations business and we haven't let up off of it and we're still going to stand on it. We're not going to get punked out. I saw Roland Martin and his ilk, the bootlicks. They were talking some gibberish. He had Michael Imhotep. He had some of the bootlicks on there talking about, well, we might need to change the word reparation because a lot of it be scaring people. Reparation, that word be triggering people, the white people. Ooh, because we called out that tether governor, Wes Moore, in Maryland. We've been calling him out for crashing the reparations study. And some of the bootlicks, because now they know the Democrats are just shooting themselves in the foot left and right. Wes Moore sat up here and vetoed the reparations study. And now they're trying to spin it. This is coming from the DNC top. They're trying to spin it. Well, it was just a study. Wes Moore wanted to put together something that had more teeth in it. He didn't want to put together a study. That's crap. That's crap. He wanted to put together programs for people of color. Yeah, he wanted to focus on people of color, programs for people of color. Don't let them run that Democrat shill game. Huh? Wes Moore is a Jamaican tether. He crashed out the reparations and vetoed it, the reparations study up there in Maryland. And now the Democrats think they're going to try to spin it. This is why we got to be loud and proud about reparations. Don't say it with your chest. Yeah, we were gonna get the language right in that. Yeah, they tried that. We're gonna do a study, but yeah, once some of the grassroots folks get up in there, we'll make them change the language around. That's okay. Just as long as you start putting some stuff, putting it on the table, we'll get in there and we'll make sure the language is right. Remember, they did the same thing out here in California. You understand? Just as long as you say reparations and you say, hey, we're going to put this on out here and we're going to talk about it. See, that's fine. They did the same thing out here. We got on their bumper and made them get the language right. That's what we did in California. I was on there. I was talking to Camilla Moore and all of them people. We were calling, texting, meeting with them, making sure they got the language right and exact. So yeah, just as long as they get some of the stuff on the table, we're going there and we'll make sure everything is going to be said the way it needs to be said. Huh? But he crashed it out altogether. So we're not going to let the Democrats try to spin that. But listen, we want tangibles. We want reparations for slavery for foundational Black Americans. We're going to have to stop being nervous about that and timid about that, because trying to tiptoe around with these white supremacists, that's not working. We're dealing with vampires. That's going to be the theme on tonight's broadcast. We're dealing with vampires. So we got to deal with vampires straight down the middle. This is our money. This is what's owed to us. And all of this black fatigue talk, they can stop. This is what this is about, that black fatigue talk. They're trying to discourage us from talking about reparations by being hostile. They're trying to be hostile. I'm going to be hostile back. Damn it, where's my money? Vampire ass white supremacist. We need our paper. We're not playing games. And all of this stuff about, well, we're just tired of blacks. We just want blacks to just go away, just go somewhere and just leave us whites be. Just leave us alone, you blacks, and your degeneracy, your culture. It's your culture. Our culture is fine. You white supremacists have a culture of cherry picking black trauma and getting off on the black trauma that you seek out, cultivate, and curate. This is the Majara sweater. You get this at majara.org. This is the Majara sweater. Their culture is cherry picking black trauma. They get into black trauma porn. All they do is sit around looking for black fighting, black degeneracy, black crime, because that's their culture, getting off on black trauma. It's not our culture at all. When white supremacists say things, well, oh God, if I go to the hood, there's a thug. It's so dangerous in the black neighborhoods. The thugs are gonna get me. Listen. Black crime, which there is no such thing as black crime, by the way. I've been telling people that there's no such thing as black crime. And what is black crime? It's not black crime. It's not something that is co-signed and sanctioned by black people. It has nothing to do with black society. We don't have an institution in which to facilitate or ratify or co-sign any violence or crime. We don't. So crime is crime. It ain't black crime. We don't have black crime. It's not sanctioned by our community. Now you have white crime, the Kyle Rittenhouses, the Zimmermans, because white society sanctions that. They normalize it. They don't even make it a crime. You see? But when these people talk about, oh, we want the blacks, oh God, if they can just leave us alone, God. You white supremacists are the ones always seeking out black trauma porn. You're seeking us out all the time. You always trying to do what we do. You're always following us around. You're always trailing us. You're always doing surveillance on us. You're always on social media talking about us, whining about us. You're always on 4chan, Reddit, sharing your anti-black memes all day, every day. You can't leave us alone. You can't seem to get away from us, white supremacists. Now, why is that? I mean, you claim to want to distance yourself from us. You preach segregation, but whenever we build thriving communities, you come in and infiltrate it, drain it, sabotage it, gentrify it. You're like vampires. You can't resist the vitality of black spaces. You just can't. You survive off feeding off of our creativity, our music, our slang, our dance, our culture. You siphoned it and then rebranded. You're like a vampire who needs fresh blood. You steal our cultural life force. Huh? You need black bodies in order to fuel the economy. Slavery, that built the wealth of the Western world. Today, the prison industrial complex, that's an extension of that slavery. It still builds off black labor. It feeds off black labor. So you still need our black bodies as fuel. You still need that. Your identity as white supremacist, your identity will collapse without black comparison. I want the FBA family to understand these white supremacists depend on us like vampires. Vampires are parasitic. Parasites don't exist without a host. We got to get deep tonight, family. A parasite cannot exist without a host. We have been the host for these vampiric, parasitic white supremacists. They define themselves by being not black. So if we disappear, so does their identity. That's why they always have to see what we do. It always has to be black trauma porn. They always have to talk about the projects and the hood and the ghetto and all of that stuff. If we disappear, their identity disappears. You see? We got to understand the mindset. These are bloodsuckers. They don't want us to go nowhere. They need us there to siphon our energy. See, they like to promote these stereotypes while they secretly imitate us. They call us degenerate and all that, try to mimic. They mimic our hairstyles, our fashion, our dances, surgeries. White women running around here with them big ass lips, tanning left and right. You know? See, vampires, they hide in the dark, yet they want to look like the people they envy and prey on. Remember the movie Sinners? You take on the characteristics of the people that you siphon energy from. You see, that's how vampires work, through charm. They use violence and charm. Neely Fuller said the white supremacists got two motives, two methods: deception and then violence. When deception doesn't work, they get into violence. That's what a vampire does. The vampire tries to be deceptive. Hey, man, let me in, man. I'm here to kick it, man. We all need to love each other. Hey, let me look at Sinners. I'm referencing Sinners through all of this, by the way. I'm going to be referencing that. But look at that famous scene in Sinners with, what's the big brother's name? What was his name? The big heavyset brother. What was his name in Sinners, ladies and gentlemen? I'm having an old Negro brain fart. The big brother in Sinners. Was it Cornbread? What was his name? The big brother. Help me out, family in the room. Help me out. What was his name? Come on, guys. Come on. There's a little delay. It was Cornbread, right? Was it Cornbread? Was it? Okay, it was Cornbread. Okay. So remember, I was right. So Cornbread, when Cornbread turned, he came in trying to be deceptive, and they knew something was wrong. Remember, they knew something was wrong. He was trying to be deceptive. Hey, man, come on, man, let me in. Hey, man, we all know each other. We all got to love each other. Come on. Oh, man, and now we can't let you in. All right, well, can I get my money? I just want to get paid. I go home. And then the minute he couldn't be deceptive, he turned violent. He tried to bite Stack. Remember? He tried to bite Stat. So, yeah, Omar Benson, good actor. He did a phenomenal job. I hope he gets something as a supporting role. He did a phenomenal job. But these people pretend to fear us. Oh, we can't go to the hood. If I go to the hood, the people are going to get me. Oh, there's thugs in the hood. Oh, God, the thugs are going to get me. Nobody's going to do anything to you in the hood. Nobody's going to do anything to you. Black areas are safe for the most part. Black areas are safe. The only people who get into violent action are people who are in the street world, people who have personal street beefs. Those are the people who are really committing violence. Yeah, you might have your occasional crackhead who try to rob you. You got meth heads that will try to rob you. I live in a wealthy suburb. We had the police over here the other day. Around the corner, somebody, I guess some white meth head tried to break in somebody's house. Around the corner from me. This happened last night. You understand? So yeah, we don't let them run that violent shit on you. Because yeah, we got a lot of broke white meth heads around here. They'll rob you before the crackhead. All right? The crackhead know how to make some money. The crackhead know how to get out there in front of the gas station and dance at least. He got a tin cup and he'll do a dance. He'll dance, rap, sing. The crackhead got some kind of talent. They can get some money, but the meth head, oh no, you better watch out for them. You watch out for the meth heads. But yeah, they pretend to fear us, but they're obsessed with us. Yeah? And they target children to drain future generations. That's another thing. And they claim to be superior, yet they need our existence in order to stay relevant. If you're superior, and I believe they've created an artificial system that's superior, but if you're superior, you would just go somewhere and just be superior. Just be great. Just take your ass somewhere and be great. But you wouldn't have to monitor, mock, police, enslave us. Just like vampires, you got to stalk the living in order to survive. You can't function without being a parasite latching on to black life. See, white supremacy, it's a powerful system, yet it is a very weak system because it's a system of dependency. See, like vampires, the vampire will rot when it doesn't have new, fresh energy. You see, we're going to get deep with this thing because we're going to tie in the movie Sinners. We're going to tie that in. We're tying that in. I want y'all to understand. There's this white dude who did a review of Sinners. This guy, and I want y'all to hear this, he sounds like a vampire. He was upset with the movie. He said the real enemy of the movie, the real villain, was Annie. I want y'all to hear this white man who sounds like a vampire. He sounds like he's from Transylvania somewhere. He literally sounds like Dracula. But I want to show you the mindset of these people and his interpretation of the movie. I want y'all to listen to this. This is heavy. This is how these people think. You tell me these people ain't no damn vampires. This guy sounds pro-vampire. Listen to this. Listen to this, guys. Hold on.
This woman is the real villain of the movie Sinners. Not the vampires, not the clan people, Annie. Let me explain.
He said the vampires weren't the villain. The clan, they wasn't the villain either. They weren't the villains. It was Annie. Listen.
See, Remake the vampire didn't want to unalive anybody. He wanted to build a community. His first victims were a white couple in a shed, and when he drank the husband's blood, he saw the memories. He thought his uncle is planning a great injustice and using a jukebox as a trap for all the black people in the area. So Remake saw injustice, he saw how special the people in the community are, and decided to give them freedom, immortality, and special powers.
Oh, boy. See, boy, listen to this level of deception. Listen to this. This is how the white supremacists like this will interpret the movie. Oh, no, he was trying to help them by turning them into vampires. No. No. He was trying to help himself because he needed fresh blood. He needed that not only the fresh blood, but the soul of the alive people, of the righteous people, of the people who had certain knowledge, people who had spiritual gifts. The vampires needed that. He wasn't doing them a favor. No, they think, y'all, people like, he sounds stupid. They think like this. This is their logic. This is their logic. Hold on. Let me play the rest. This is their logic. Hold on.
He didn't simply drink their blood and let them die. No, he allowed them to turn into vampires. Otherwise, he could have just snapped a neck or put a stake in their heart. He truly wanted to save them from injustice.
Oh, please.
Save them from poverty, save them from persecutions and discriminations. He vocalized it himself a couple times in the movie. And we saw with our own two eyes how much happier all the turned became. They retained their memories. They were the same people, just with supernatural powers. They were all literally dancing and celebrating the new life.
No, that was a facade. See, this is how the devil tries to use deception. No, that's a facade. All of that, we're happy, that's to lure other victims in. Yeah, demons always use deception. See, this is a lesson here. I just want to show y'all how these devils and demons try to use deception. On the surface, they were happy, but that was to lure people in. Like, hey, look at us. It's a big old party. Come join us so we can suck your lifeblood out of you, and then we can survive in the undead world. You know, that's Satan talk right here. Yeah? Hold on. That's how the Democrats try to do people. They run that game. Hold on.
The new beginning. Yet Annie was the one who ruined it. She said, no, this is all sin. This is all not godlike. This is all just abomination. Let's remain poor and miserable and go back to the cotton fields to the day we die. She let her community down and let everyone perish for nothing. A Triple K clan didn't stand a chance against a vampire clan because one man's smoke could not bring it down. He had to literally sacrifice himself for the greater good. All of it could have been avoided, but because of Annie, her refusal to evolve, her refusal to let go of the old ways, she caused the community the immortality and prosperity. And that's why she's the villain.
And Annie saved everybody in the movie. Hold on.
The one to blame for everybody's demise. This woman...
All right. Let me break this dude down. So he said Annie was the villain. Now, to the vampires and to the white supremacists, Annie was the villain. Because you notice when Annie, and I hate giving, y'all should have saw the movie already, but Annie, she was the root woman. She was the hoodoo woman. She was the root woman. She was the hoodoo woman. Annie told Smoke and Stack, hey, listen, if they bite me or whatever, get me up out of here. Don't let me be in this little purgatory bullshit. No. Let me go over. Let me go over to the other side. Get me up out of here. Put a stake to my heart. Get me up out of here. Why? And when she got bit, they wouldn't put the stake in her heart. The vampires were pissed. You understand? They were pissed off. Why were they upset? Because she had that knowledge of hoodoo, which they didn't know. They didn't have that. It was that hoodoo root work, what I call the Majara spirit, that was the thing that was warding off them damn demons. Remember, it was the mojo bag. Was it Smoke or Stack? I always get Smoke and Stack mixed up, but when one of the twins tried to bite his brother, he couldn't because he had a mojo bag. He had the hoodoo bag on him. So he couldn't, it repelled him. It didn't work. That was the thing that was warding off the evil spirits. That worked more than the Christian emblems and all of that stuff. So they wanted Annie to turn into a vampire, because remember, they got your memories, they got all your knowledge. They wanted Sammy, they wanted his musical gift, and they wanted Annie. They wanted the secrets to hoodoo. They wanted the hoodoo root work secrets. That's what they wanted. Yeah? And when she transitioned over, oh, they were pissed. Smoke half the mojo. Okay, I always get them mixed up. But it was very interesting in the film that the Christianity, when they were quoting Bible verses, that wasn't working. Remember when Sammy tried to, the vampire was about to get Sammy started quoting Bible verses, and then the vampire started quoting them with him. Like, oh, I know these verses. Hell, I quote them with you. So he was like, damn, how come this ain't working? Well, the thing is, that's like the white supremacists now. See, colonial Christianity, listen to what I said, colonial Christianity. Christianity isn't bad as long as you're practicing it in its pure form. But colonial white supremacy, meaning the white supremacy, colonial Christianity, colonial Christianity, which is filtered through white supremacy, that lost its power. So the vampires know that. They've corrupted colonial Christianity, not Christianity in its pure form, but colonial Christianity. Because remember, they were giving us Christianity, but they were taking stuff out and all of that, creating little slave Bibles like, y'all read this, but don't read that. But when you practice Christianity under colonialism, white supremacist systems, it doesn't hold divine authority. It's been co-opted. And even though they memorize certain things, it's manipulated by evil forces. So they understand that FBA spirituality, that holds the real power. The mojo bags, that warded those vampires off. The true spirit lies in our foundational Black American traditions. And it was more effective than a lot of those westernized religions. You see, that was a very powerful scene. Because, see, divine power, that comes from land and bloodline. See, those mojo bags, they're made from natural elements, herbs, sacred items tied to our ancestry. Right? So that effectiveness, that shows that divine protection is rooted in our culture, our land and our lineage. You see? That's a very heavy piece, man. Y'all really need to go see that. I mean, Brother Ryan did such a phenomenal job. And look, book religion versus live religion, see, there's a difference. See, the vampire quoting the scripture, it shows knowledge with no spirit. Hoodoo, in contrast, that's a lived experience. That's a spirit-led practice. You see? That's something that has blood on it. It has ancestral memory on it. It has real energy on it. You understand? Also, the vampire, the vampire is a false prophet. Using Bible verses, the vampire, they can mirror some of the words, but they don't have the soul in it. So they've co-opted it and flipped it. And any religion, Christianity, it can be hollow when you disconnect it from culture. You see? But even hoodoo uses elements of different religions too, but hoodoo is such a pure thing because it's coming from the soul. It's a real thing. It's divine. When you're talking about hoodoo, there's a real lineage to it. There was real suffering to it. There was a real ancestral energy tied to it. Nature and a respect of nature tied to it. It's some deep stuff. And it's something that we practice in private among each other that we didn't share with a lot of people, especially in the dominant society, and we still keep it secret to this day. So it has not been corrupted. You understand? It hasn't been corrupted by the white supremacists. Now they try to learn and all of that stuff, but they can't really get it. That's what that movie, that's why they wanted Annie. They needed that. They needed to get that knowledge. Like, hell, what the hell are y'all doing? We need that. We need that energy. Yeah? That's why places like Louisiana and South Carolina is very heavy in that area. Remember, the movie was shot out there in Mississippi and Louisiana. As we know what's going down in Louisiana right now, there was a slave plantation that burned down, and a plantation about between New Orleans and Baton Rouge. The plantation burned down. One of the biggest plantations out there. I want y'all to hear something. I want y'all to listen to this woman who did a plantation. She speaks at the plantation tour. This is the Nottoway Plantation. Now this place just burned down. Hold on one second. Let me find that. Where is it? Let me find that thing where it's burned down. Hold on, I'm trying to show it. Hold on, let me find it. Hold on one second, guys. Let me see if I put it up here. Hold on one second. Where is it? Okay, trying to see if I could see it. Okay, I'll just play this one right here. But yeah, it burned down. I'm trying to see it. Hold on, let me show y'all the actual fire. And this was the largest currently standing plantations in the South. They had like 150 enslaved foundational Black Americans on there. Hold on one second, where we at? Let me do this. Y'all bear with me one second. Okay, I'm gonna just turn the music down.Hold on. Okay, so this is the plantation right here. I'm not gonna, because I got music playing under it. Hold on one second. Where we at? All right. Y'all bear with me one second. All right, this people made a art thing dancing on it. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Y'all bear with me one second. I'm gonna show y'all what the actual fire looks like. Hold on one second. Is it gonna start again? There it is, okay. So that's the plantation, the Nottoway Plantation. It just caught on fire. They don't even know how it caught on fire. And that thing burned to the ground. And people were out there celebrating because that plantation disrespected the lineage. Hold on, let me show you. Let me show you. This is a woman who's doing a tour talking about the plantation. This is when it was not burning. Hold on, listen to this. Hold on one second. Hold on. Hey, what am I doing? Oh, I'm messing up. I'm doing something wrong. Hold on. All right, y'all bear with me. All right. Let me make this a little bigger, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. Here we go.
The most in this region, and that's because when he purchased a slave, if the slave had a wife and children, he'd buy the whole family so that they would never be separated. And so that was good for them. And then in the village, he built a cottage for each of those families so they didn't have to share with multiple families and squeeze into one space. So that was good too. They could hunt, they could fish, so they could buy for their own food. And they also built a hospital for them, and there was a doctor who would visit every week. And the doctor trained one of the slaves to be a nurse to take care of them. So for the readings that we have, it sounds like the slaves were treated fairly well as a slave can be treated, considering the conditions. When the war ended, the majority of the slaves stayed here. We actually have descendants of the slaves who still work here today. Pretty amazing.
So she said the slaves were treated fairly well, okay, on a plantation, and some of the descendants of those slaves are still living on that plantation. So the continuity of that energy is still there. That's why the ancestors burned that joint down. That's why the ancestors had to burn it on down, ladies and gentlemen. All right? And hold on. Yeah. Hold on one second. That's not the only plantation down there that, hold on. There was another plantation, hold on. Y'all bear with me. There was another plantation that got struck by lightning down there. Where is that? There was another plantation down there that got struck by lightning and it burned down. I'm trying to find the name of it. There was one that was struck by lightning in 1960, but there was another one a few years ago. Okay, where is that? Okay, now I'm trying to find it. Hold on one second. I could have swore this was okay, where is that? So yeah, there was another plantation down there. I'm trying to find it. Okay, I can't find it right now. I would like to find that story. Okay. I was trying to find that, but yeah, there was another one out there that was struck by lightning. I can't find it. I hate when I try to, because I like to bring y'all receipts. I like to bring receipts to the family. I like to show and prove, but yeah, there was another one that was struck by lightning. I just can't find it right now. But again, going to the movie, they wanted Annie's knowledge. They wanted that knowledge of hoodoo. They needed her knowledge. And the thing is, vampires, see, they represent the system. The system knows the Bible. They know the words. You know, they know how to quote scriptures, but they just don't have the soul and the spirit of it. See, hoodoo is different, as shown in the movie. See, hoodoo is a weapon of the enslaved, not the enslavers. See, mojo bags, hoodoo, all that, that's in Majara, the Majara spirit, that's born from resistance. Parasites, vampires, they feed off people, just like white supremacy. Hoodoo wasn't given by the system. It was created against these people. That the spiritual system of hoodoo, it was created specifically against evil entities from its onset. That's why it couldn't be tamed or countered by vampires. See, it's a weapon. It's always been a weapon of spiritual warfare. It's always been that. Frederick Douglass, they had like a hoodoo bag, and just so many of our people, I think Harriet Tubman did, many of our people had those mojo bags, those hoodoo bags. We've always used that to ward off evil. Hoodoo, mojo, that contains ancestral power. Vampires fear the dead who fought back. You see, the mojo bags, it's not just herbs in there or trinkets, but it's an ancestral essence. See, vampires, they are symbolic of systems that erase history. They are terrified of the return of the dead who remembers. You see, hoodoo, it calls on the ancestors who were never spiritually conquered. So that spirit is radioactive to the oppressor. That's why why do you think these white supremacists are around us all the time? Why do you think these white supremacists are always studying us? Because spiritually, we've not been conquered by these folks. We still get up and we give them that same energy. We give them that same energy, ladies and gentlemen. You dig? We don't play games with them. We never backed up off of them when we give them the same energy. We resist them. We don't play games with them. All right. Hoodoo, it can't be co-opted like Christianity. See, white supremacists, they know how to co-opt religions. They'll get in there, they'll co-opt Islam. They'll start co-opting Buddhism. That's why you got like old fat ass Steven Seagal running around here trying to be a Buddhist and all that with his big fat bloated ass. They always trying to co-opt some religion. Madonna, be trying to co-opt different religions. What was she trying to? It was some weird religion she trying to practice. They will get a religion and then twist it, trying to justify slavery, war, and control. See, hoodoo, it's decentralized, it's oral, it's coded, so it can't be infiltrated. It can't really be rewritten. So it makes it a wild and uncontrollable force that the vampire / white supremacists can't predict or survive. They don't know what it's about. You understand? Kabbalah, that's right. Right, the Kabbalah, yeah. Yeah, they start co-opting religions. Yeah, Madonna was doing that Kabbalah thing. And hoodoo and root work and majority, it's rooted in nature. Vampires, they represent unnatural exploitation. Listen, family, just like the white supremacists, vampires are unnatural. White supremacists are unnatural. You're not supposed to be a white supremacist. That's not supposed to be some shit where some group of pale-skinned people who are basically albinos are supposed to dominate and mistreat and brutalize people in an artificial system that's really unnatural of white supremacy that you have to back up with military violence. That's not a real system. It's real, but it's not real. It's not a natural system. Vampires are unnatural. Vampires live by violating natural order. You understand? Am I getting too deep? I want y'all to understand this. I want y'all to really understand how vampires thrive on artificial control. Vampires, just like the white supremacists, they can't exist in the open. They can't exist in the wild. They can't exist in the natural world. Vampires, what do? They require darkness. They live in castles, coffins, secrecy. All manufactured environments. Yeah? White supremacists, they can't live in natural harmony. When they show up, people are like, okay, what's going on with them? So they have to make these constructed hierarchies, legal fictions, manipulated education, media propaganda. They got to build these nighttime ecosystems. Even when they started off, Dr. Layla Africa used to talk about this. Yeah, that's that cave culture. They had to live in these caves, and everything is like cave-like. You go to Europe, you go to England, they got these taverns, which are like bars that are real dark and cave-like. Restaurants that are dark with candles, cave-like. Everything is dark and cave-like that has to have fire and all of this stuff. You see? It's an unnatural environment. They have to build nighttime ecosystems to shield their parasitism, like corrupt police and corrupt laws and corrupt judges and all of this stuff. So everything has to be rigged for them to exist. See, just like vampires, you got to create illusions to maintain control. Right? The host culture vultures. Say, we know what they are. We use terms like culture vultures. Yeah? They have to create illusions in order to maintain control. Vampires hypnotize, they glamour, they seduce. Their control, it's not based on like mutual respect or consent. It's based on deception. Like the white supremacists, everything is about deception, faking history. You got to take real history out of school. You got to hide this. You got to hide that. You got to rewrite this. You got to make the Egyptians white. You got to create a fake white savior. Yeah? Everything is artificial, just like vampires. Just like vampires, they feed on dependency. Vampires don't want independent people. They need weakened people. They need the addicted, the submissive. People who will let them feed without resistance. You see, that's what I'm getting deep. We got to get deep. See, that's what the white supremacists and vampires need. They need people. See, that's why they get on us. They want us to stop fighting them all the time. Hey, stop race baiting. Stop talking about race all the time. Meaning, let us feed off your ass without resistance. No. No, you're not going to trick us into going along with your program. See, that's why I get on the tethers. See, that they've already sucked the life out of the tethers. Oh, I don't want to beat up on the non-FBAs, but they done sucked the life out of them. You see? They done drain Africa and the Caribbean. They done drain that. The tethers, many of them, they've been bitten already. Can I get deep? Can I cook for a minute? That's why we have a problem with tethers, ladies and gentlemen, because the tethers are like vampires. They've already been bitten, but they come around looking like us. That's what vampires do. They have to put on your aesthetics. They kind of look like you. They kind of have to talk like you. But then they get around you and then they undermine you. You understand? Oh, they're always talking about a minority coalition. Hey, man, we all in this together. And then when they get around us, they start biting us and undermining us. You dig? Every time we need some help, they're the main ones harming us with the goddamn white supremacists. That's vampirism. You see? They've already got them. They ain't fighting back no more. Yeah? Family, I put up a clip earlier. I'm going to play a little bit of it. I hope I don't get a strike. Y'all remember over about a decade ago, Mike Tyson was in Canada promoting, I think his play, he was promoting something. And I'm going to play just a little bit of it because I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm going to play a little bit of it. And Mike Tyson was up there trying to do something constructive. Mike Tyson is our brother. We know Mike has went through trials and tribulations. He went to jail damn near 30 years ago. So we know what it is. He did his time. The man has been punished. He did whatever. That man has went through a whole life transition. He went through boxing and retired. He's just trying to live his life, do his thing, and just live. So he was doing an interview, and this tether reporter brought up the rape conviction like 25 years ago at the time. Just out the blue. It didn't. Let me show this. And then Mike started going off on his ass and cursing him out. Hold on. Let me show this. Y'all bear with me 1 second. Let me show this. It's very funny. Hold on. Where is it? Hold on. Hold on. Where is it? Where's that thing, man? Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Where is it? There it is right here.
I'm up your critics would say,
Okay. Hold on. All right. Fair use with this, ladies and gentlemen. Fair use. Okay. All right. Fair use with this. All right. So some of y'all remember this. This is old. This is like a decade old. But the tether reporters, he's the Jamaican tether named Nathan Downer. And then he asked Mike a very slick, passive-aggressive question. Hold on.
Now, some of your critics would say, there's a race for mayor. We know you're a convicted rapist. This could hurt his campaign. How would you respond to that?
Hey, I don't know who said that. You don't even know who said that. You know what I mean? And I don't have no comment to that, because it's negative and you're being negative. And I met the mayor, right, and nothing they can do about it.
We actually had a really good time. We talked about George Cervalo. He was a legend in your city, great man, with whom Mike spent quite a bit of time yesterday talking about his life, highs and lows.
So interesting that you come across like a nice guy, but you're really a piece of shit.
Hey,
with that comment.
Come on.
No, that was a piece of fuck you. That was a piece of shit.
We're doing live TV.
Hey, I don't care. What are you gonna do about it?
All right, you got a show that you're doing tonight. We are. A lot of people. We are.
I like how this tether he's trying to change the subject now after he said that slick ass. All right, I ain't gonna play the rest because Mike kept going off on him. This tether Sambo, he's married to a white woman, by the way. Let me tell you something. That was slick as hell what that tether tried to do. Yeah, he's a Jamaican tether. He tried to be slick doing that. He didn't have to bring that up. What the hell you even crowbarring that in the conversation for? Oh yeah, Mike almost whooped his ass. Yeah, why would you even bring that up? You gonna crowbar a 20-year-old case that had nothing to do with nothing? Yeah, so, Mike, you are a convicted rapist. I mean, do you think anybody would have that's tether shit. All right? That shit is old. That's old. This is something totally different. Even bringing that up, that was some hoe ass shit he did, bringing that up. That was tether shit doing that. That was passive aggressive as hell. He wasn't being journalistic. That was some passive aggressive ass stuff. And Mike called him out on it. Yeah? Mike called him out on it. Come on, Mike. Come on. We're on television. So what are you going to do with me? Mike, fuck you. You piece of shit. But that's what I'm talking about. They'll get around you smiling while trying to undermine you. You understand what I'm saying? They'll be skinning and grinning in your face trying to undermine the hell out of you. Yeah, that was tetherish as hell. I'm glad Mike cussed his ass out. Yeah? But family, like I said about these vampires and their mindset, they can't create. The vampires, they can't create nothing. They only consume. Vampires, just like the white supremacists, they're incapable of innovation or true creation. Don't let these white supremacists run around talking about, oh, we done created this. No, you stole. You have to steal from everything. You don't create anything. You just come in and then leech off things, parasite off of it, and then leave it barren and dry. Family, listen, it was the white supremacists over here. They messed up the land in the South by over cultivating certain crops. They said, okay, there's a crop that makes money. Let's just keep growing that crop. This crop makes money. Let's just keep growing that, growing it and growing it. If you do that, if you don't know how to rotate the crops and plant other things in order to replenish the nutrients in the crops, that messes the crops up. Our good foundational Black American brother, George Washington Carver, had to teach these damn white supremacists that. That's why he was talking about the peanut and sweet potatoes and all of that stuff. People try to dismiss our great brother, George Washington Carver, talking about, well, he just made peanut butter. No, he understood the nitrates and all of those minerals in peanuts could help replenish the earth and the soil. He saved the agrarian South by rotating the crops, putting more nutrients in the crops. They wore the damn soil out. These idiots. You know what I'm saying? We always have to come on in and just kind of clean up behind these parasites. Let's be real. We got to talk real here. That's why the movie is so great, using these vampires as allegories for these white supremacists. See, they appropriate creativity and then repackage it as their own. They feed off the vitality of Black culture while demonizing the source. You see, vampires do the same. They feed on your life while scorning the living. They try to demonize the people who are alive, but they need your life force. You see, the artificial rules, that's meant to control the natural. See, vampires create their own rules. They enforce these rules with fear. You see, their rules, it doesn't exist for balance. It's for dominance. Just like the white supremacists, nothing is about balance. Everything is about dominance. Jim Crow laws, voter ID, just all types of weird shit. Everything to suppress natural rights. See, vampires, they can't survive in a world of spiritual equality or ancestral balance. That's why they feared hoodoo. Hoodoo was whooping their ass. Our ancestral energy is just and righteous. Yeah? It restores natural alignment. They fear that. Vampires are undead. They're not dead, but they're not alive. They're trapped between worlds. They're like in a purgatory. That's like a pun. That's like hell. You never get to rest, truly rest. You're suspended in this false existence. You understand? I want y'all to really soak that in. See, that mirrors how the system of oppression, it traps people in limbo. See, the white supremacists, they're in like a limbo state. You understand? They're in this limbo state. They spiritually, it ain't there. They don't have the same spirit as the indigenous people. They can't survive without clinging on to the indigenous people, yet they have to dominate and control. They defy the balance of nature. Balance is everything. Life, death, give, receive, ancestors, descendants. That vampire energy, it ruptures that flow. They evade death and just hoard time. They cheat the natural order, you see. That's how, like, the ruling class, they try to make themselves immortal through wealth hoarding, through legacy institutions. Now they're trying to make themselves immortal through AI, artificial intelligence, transhumanism. See, that's vampire-like. They're going to try to make themselves live forever. That's why they're always talking about some transhumanism, this and all. See? It's very, very deep. The unnaturalness of the vampires and the white supremacists, see? They turn the living into the dead. Instead of elevating and healing, see, vampires, they degrade and they infect. So people who get bitten, you become less human, less alive, less connected. That's how the white supremacists do people. They rob people of their dreams, rob them of their culture. They turn them into little zombies like them. They turn them into shadow versions of white supremacists. That's why people within our community who's not spiritually grounded, you fall prey to the traps of these white supremacists. You see? And just like the vampires, the white supremacists, they fear natural forces. What destroys vampires? The sun. What destroys the white supremacists? The sun. They can't go out there in the sun like that. That's why it's funny when they try to claim to be the ancient Egyptians. They do these movies where they pretend that they were these anglicized ancient Egyptians. You weren't walking around Africa with that pale damn skin under that heat. Have y'all been to Egypt? I've been to Egypt. Raise your hand if you've been to Egypt. Do you know how hot it is in Egypt? Egypt is scorching damn hot over there. The minute you get there, I'm like, hell no. These white supremacists would not have survived one day over here, walking around with their shirt off, no sunscreen. Hell, the pale Arabs can't survive like that, and that's why they got to cover up. That's why they have to cover up from head to toe. The pale Arabs that invaded over there can't survive in that damn heat. That's why you go over there, a lot of people be out at night. They wait till the sun go down. Those Arabs, because those are invaders over there. Now, those are not the real Egyptians over there. Those are invaders there. Now, they have to go out at night. They have to wait till the sun go down for the most part to really, over in Egypt at night, it's popping at night. Egypt over there now, it's popping at night. Everybody be out at night when the sun go down. Yeah? But see, we talk about hoodoo. See, hoodoo, that carries the blood memory of rebellion. See, white supremacy, they depend on historic amnesia. That's why they're always trying to erase history. They always, hey, no, let's take it out of schools. DEI, CRT. Why are these people so goddamn afraid of history? Because, see, they don't want us tapping back into those ancestral memories. When we start learning history, we start having a respect for the ancestors. They don't want that, oh my God, it's some DEI. Mean I'm going to die if you know your real damn history. That's what that means. I'm going to die if y'all Negroes know your real history. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, vampires love the nighttime. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But when we get the mojo bags and the hoodoo bags and all that, see, that carries remembrance. Blood memories that's encoded in roots, prayers, chants, Vampires, they fear rebellion. See that mojo bag? That I got a mojo bag in the house. I got my High John Root. I got my mojo bag. See, that's like a pocket-sized revolution. It's like it reminds you, hey, we fought before and we're still fighting. You see, hoodoo, root work, majority. See, that's mind and spirit protection. Yeah? That fortifies the soul. And when we talk about hoodoo, that's talking about bringing justice. See, the mojo bag, it doesn't just block harm, it sends it back. See, that's terrifying to vampires and the white supremacists. See, hoodoo, it's like mirror jars. It's a reversal. It's like a boomerang. It sends the evil back to these people. It gives them that energy back. That's why places like we're bringing up Louisiana, lightning keeps striking these plantations and these mysterious fires are burning these plantations down. That Majara spirit, that hoodoo spirit is all in the air and it's giving them that disrespectful energy back. It's giving them their just rewards. It's giving it back to them. You see? Those mojo bags, and I should have brought one in here. You see, that activates ancestral codes that the vampires can't read. See, vampires, they represent outsiders who consume without understanding. See, mojo bags are encrypted with language, symbols, and codes that's foreign to the oppressor. See, the system, they can read the Bible, but they can't decode what's in a mojo bag. That's something that has to be loved to you. Somebody who loves you and cares for you, they have to break that down to you. It has to be given to you by somebody who cares for you. You see? That's why it messes them up on contact. They don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to deal with that. You see? But we got to really understand the power of our lineage. It's very real. That vampire white supremacy thing, see, they live in that in-between purgatory state. They have a soul that refuses to transition. See, death is a transition. Your soul moves on to an afterlife. It reincarnates, it joins the ancestors. See, the vampires, they resist that transition. So they become spiritually stuck. They can't move forward or backwards. So they're like spiritual fugitives. They're cut off from a divine source. See, when you become an ancestor, you tap into those divine sources. So you're there. The energy is there looking over your people. Death connects you to divine judgment, ancestral realms, the whole shebang. And vampires and the white supremacists, they're cut off from that through damnation, through rebellion of the divine order. They're just cut off from that. They wander the earth with no soul. Yeah? And there's an eternal spiritual thirst. They gotta feed on the people who have soul. We have soul. We are soul brothers. Soul food. Soul music. That's why the white supremacists they're always trying to feed off of us, siphon off of our soul and our energy. Just like vampires, they have like a perverted resurrection. You see, they try to act Christ-like. What do vampires do? They sleep in coffins. They try to rise up. That's like a perverted version of Christianity, like Jesus rising from the dead. See, we got to understand their version of Christianity ain't the right version. It's a perverted version of it. That's why you got to stay out of some of them white churches. You understand? The other day, y'all remember I did a live and I was debating a white supremacist. And I was lighting his ass up. After we debated, he did a prayer. He was like, listen, I just hope we all get together. You know, we all just got to be one people. Now, this was somebody who was talking all types of IQ and inferiority and just, you know. And then he tried to do this little perverted prayer, this passive-aggressive prayer. Listen, I just want to, we can all agree to disagree, but listen, Father God, I hope we all walk together in your glory as one people. It was some little prayer he did, and I kind of dismissed it. I should have rebuked it, and somebody reminded me. A sister was like, hey, you don't let no devil pray over you now. Yeah, that January 6th rat. She's like, oh, no, baby, don't let no devil pray over you. No, that can put a curse on you. And that's why, and I went back and did another live, Jake Lang, rebuking his prayer. I rebuke it. I rebuke it now. I rebuke his prayer. I do not accept it. I didn't accept it then. I just kind of dismissed it. I don't accept his prayer. Don't accept it. Do not accept prayers from the devil. That's part of our culture. We, in our foundation of Black American culture, if a devil prays over you, that can put a curse on you. Don't never let a devil pray over you, because it's perverted. This guy is. We already know what his spirit and soul is. We already know what his soul is. We already know what his spirit is about. It's demonic. So yeah, don't let them try to get you to accept one of their little janky prayers. Yeah? Because see, their existence is a mockery, just like vampires. It's a mockery of rebirth, spiritual rebirth. They steal life rather than renew it. Yeah? See, they represent twisting divine miracles into something profane. Just like vampires. They're just like vampires. These white supremacists would go to church and then plan lynchings at church. Don't ever forget that. These people would plan their lynchings at church. Yeah? And the vampires, they exist out of time. See, unlike people who live, who age and evolve and die, vampires, they're frozen in a moment. Usually the moment of their death. So their timelessness is unnatural. They can't grow spiritually or emotionally. They'll live for centuries, but they'll remain emotionally stagnant. You understand? Just like the white supremacists, just their energy, white supremacist energy is regressive. Everything is about white supremacist energy is about pulling back, pulling everybody back, stopping you from growing, stopping everybody from learning, stopping everybody from thriving, stopping everybody from being healthy. They're poisoning this country. They're poisoning the water source over here. You're poisoning the air. You're giving people deadly shots. Everything is regressive with these people. You understand? Everything. Just like a vampire. It doesn't grow. It's just stuck. Yeah? They're spiritually homeless. Just like in some legends, vampires, they can't enter holy grounds. They can't touch blessed items. You understand? They can't see their reflections. They ain't got no ancestors to call on. You see? They ain't got no deity to serve. They have no community that welcomes them. They're exiles. So they need other vampires around. Yeah? Their bloodthirst, see, that represents their disconnect from purpose. They don't have a purpose. Living beings eat, love, grow, contribute to society. Vampires, their only existence is to consume souls, just like the white supremacists. Just an endless thirst for people's souls and spirits. They're hungry ghosts. They're never satisfied, just like the white supremacists. All right, you dominate the earth. The white supremacists, you already run everything. You got control over everything. You got control of the media, all the resources, all the wealth, all the natural precious metals, diamonds. You got control over it. And you're still damn miserable. You still running around here talking about some damn black fatigue. You understand? Why? How does a people, listen, black folks, why do the people who got every material thing always sit up here looking at us, mad at us? Because we have something that they do not have, that they cannot get. Spiritual authority. We have spiritual and moral authority. That's something that you can't buy. You can't co-opt it. You got to have it. You understand? You just got to have that. They don't have it. They ain't got no soul. Family, why do vampires are they not able to be seen in a mirror? Can we get deep? See, vampires, you can be seen by humans. A human can see you, but you can't be seen in a mirror. A mirror can't see you as a vampire. Why is that in vampire folklore? Humans, we're often deceived by what people want us to see. Somebody can come along and say some good things and be charming, and we don't see them for what they really are. We don't see them. We see what they present to us. So we see what they're presenting. We see a facade. We see an illusion with the human eye. You can't trick a mirror. Mirrors see your soul. They don't have a soul. That's why they don't have a reflection. You understand? A mirror is reality. That's why people say, man, at the end of the day, man, you got to look yourself in the mirror. That means you got to deal with reality. When you're at home looking in the mirror, there ain't nobody there to reinterpret what's being seen. You're seeing what is. That mirror reflects your soul. You see? We are the mirror to the white supremacist. Yeah? We are the mirror to them. Us as foundational Black Americans, we're the mirror to the white supremacist. So when they're around us, we don't see the facade. We reflect back to what you are. We show you what and who you are. Yeah? We show you as the soulless vampire you are, white supremacist. That's why they get so mad at us, because it's a projection. They always try to project that weird shit onto us. You guys are racist to us. That's a reflection. That's us reflecting you. When you see us, you see your real soul. You're seeing yourself. Oh man, you guys are degenerate. You're seeing yourself. You guys are violent. You're seeing yourself. We are the embodiment of the mirror of you, and we never let you forget it. Yeah? We remind you of the soulless vampire you are. We let you see your rotten, parasitic soul. Huh? That's what Michael Jackson says. The man in the mirror. Huh? Listen. Vampires, just like the white supremacists, they are the personification of unresolved evil. See, in folklore, a lot of vampires, they're presented as basically generational curses, traumas, sins that were never addressed. They linger as symbols of basically unresolved pain. Just like the white supremacist, they are representatives and symbols of colonialism, ancestral betrayal, you see? And what's not healed will haunt. Mm-hmm. So nothing has been healed. That trauma is still alive. And they have to feed off of us. Now, what happens to these parasites when they don't feed? Remember in the movie, let's go back to the movie. Sinners. Remember when the Irish, the main one, the Irish vampire, when he first went to the Klan people's houses, the Native Americans were chasing his ass because they knew, because they were spiritually connected to their ancestors. So they already knew, hey, we got to get this motherfucker. So he was running from them damn Native Americans. They about to get his ass. Because they too were connected to their ancestors. Remick, that's right. Remember when Remick went to the Klan's house, his face was it was starting to deteriorate. Y'all remember that? He was getting like sores. He was starting to morph into like a monstrosity. See, that's what happens to these white supremacists. When they can't feed off fresh souls without human blood, vampires, they deteriorate. They physically, mentally, and spiritually, they become fragile, they become slow, desperate, they start going mad. They just live they're in this constant state of just mad torture. They start shriveling into corpses. They turn into corpses. And what happens is when they can't feed off fresh souls, they start to lose their charm. They lose the allure that they need in order to trick more people into coming into their circles. So they become more of a monstrosity. You understand? See, they start falling into like a dormant state. They get into like a coma, like a hibernation, waiting for centuries. They get stuck in a coffin or a crypt. So they represent suspended evil, just a corrupt force that just doesn't die. So they lose their human appearance. When a vampire is starving, the disguise starts to fade. They look monstrous. You see their true nature. See, the pretty illusion drops. The truth starts to show. You see, I want y'all to follow me on this. Just like the white supremacists, see, listen, when the white supremacists don't have black people to leech off of, they start deteriorating. Go back into Europe history. When they were up there in Europe by themselves, we know about all them plagues. They were getting plagues. Oh my goodness. Multiple plagues. They were just turning into human corpses, dying off, rotting in the streets. Yeah? It was the Moors who had to go up there and get them right. Yeah? Even when they came here, they were starving to death. They were cannibalizing. They were savages. Somebody says that adrenochrome. Right. Yeah. Family, go get the book Delectable Negro. These folks were over here physically consuming us, eating us. They were, during slavery, but let's go before slavery, when they tried to form these little colonies by themselves, they were dying off, cannibalizing each other. When they didn't have anybody to leech off of. During the Jim Crow era, these people would sit up here and string up black men and lynch black men and cut off the genitals and eat them and consume them. Very cannibalistic. Jeffrey Dahmer ain't the only one. Yeah? Yeah, they got Nat Turner and they consumed his body, made oils and powder out of him. Yeah? These are vampire people. We got to understand that and be real about it. Blood is a life force. Blood symbolizes life, spirit, power. Vampires, they feed on blood because that's the closest thing to stealing a soul without actually killing the body. So you're not just taking the fluid, you're robbing the vital essence of it. And see, they lack soul, so they have to steal yours. See, they're vampires, white supremacists, they're soulless. They're cut off from the divine. They crave what they cannot produce. Soul energy, spirit, life spark. They prey on the living. They prey on the spiritually rich people. See, that's why foundational Black Americans were always targeted in the media, targeted in culture, targeted economically. We got that unique Majara spirit. Vampires are always drawn to the strongest blood. They're drawn to the strongest, deepest spiritual power so they can consume, repackage it, and erase it. And feeding is like control. See, vampire, when they bite you, it's not just hunger, it's domination. See, once bitten, the vampire becomes submissive and linked to that damn vampire. It's like a way to mark that territory. You're stealing their willpower. You're enslaving them. You see? And see, that blood, it transfers memory and power, skills, personality. Yeah, they'll sit up and talk crazy about us. That's why they always talk crazy about us, but always emulating us at the same time. Always. And we got to understand something. Going back to mirrors, man, mirrors are spiritually charged tools. All right? In many ancient cultures, man, in ancient cultures, mirrors were seen as magical. They're like spiritual instruments. They were always believed to reveal truth and ward off spirits and trap demons. So it don't just show your face, it shows your essence. And we got movies that talked about that. That's why they said, remember the movie Candyman? Like you stand in the mirror and say Candyman 3 times and the spirit comes out of the mirror. Yeah? So it's some deep stuff. It's very, very deep stuff. But again, that vampire spirit is heavy in the white supremacists. They always have to be in our mix. They always have to be around us to see what we're doing. They always have to co-opt anything we got going on. They always have to leech from us and then destroy us when they're done. That's why a lot of black celebrities, they will get their talent, use their music, use whatever skills that they brought, take their work, co-opt it, and then destroy the host. This is why we always see black men get brought up on these little janky charges when they create something and bring something to the dominant society that helps them. Bill Cosby, our good brother Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby saved NBC. This man saved a whole network. NBC was about to, I think they're about to file bankruptcy. NBC was done. The Cosby Show saved NBC. Yeah? And these same people, these same media conglomerates turned on that brother and tried to destroy his legacy. Yeah? Diddy, what we're seeing with Diddy right now. Diddy, they're destroying his legacy with a bogus RICO charge. That RICO charge is bogus. What's going on is not no damn trafficking in that case. What's going on is not trafficking. That's not trafficking whatsoever. Yeah, they did Wesley Snipes. That's another one. Wesley Snipes saved Marble. They turned on him. Yeah? You see? But going back to the Diddy trial and the Diddy case in Cassie, were they trying to portray her as a victim? That woman's not a victim. And let me go deep about the Cassie situation, family. You know what, with Cassie, you know what it is with Cassie, ladies and gentlemen, what I think. What really set Cassie off. Because Cassie was with all that shit. Cassie was clearly just as freaky. I'm thinking that she might have put him on to some of that freaky shit. But here's my thing with Cassie. And some other people that I think they kind of made this correlation. What made Cassie go there and help these people bring Diddy down? See, Cassie is an exotic, quote unquote, non-FBA chick. She's Filipino dad. I think her mother, I keep hearing her mother's West Indian. I don't know from where, but her mother's non-FBA. So it's Caribbean something. Her mother's Caribbean something. So you got this exotic non-FBA woman who was with Diddy for over a decade. And a lot of these exotic harlots who are non-FBA they feel like they should be prioritized over foundational Black American women. Nothing makes these women more spiteful than a full foundational Black American woman getting some shine over them. You understand? J-Lo, who, you know, they parade her around as being the queen of the exotic women. I never forget that interview where there were some Black women on there and they were talking. It was a corporation during the whole George Floyd thing when we were forcing people to kind of throw some tangibles to the Black community. There was some corporation who said they were going to invest into some program for Black women, and J-Lo was like, well, I hope they do it for Latinas. I hope they do it for Latina women too. Y'all remember that? I played that clip. Boy, I looked at J-Lo side-eye with that. Boy, I looked at her side-eye. They don't like when some Black women get something over them. Oh, that's the ultimate betrayal. Iceberg Slim talks about how these traditionally what they say are exotic or pretty women or white women, they'll get Iceberg Slim, and he wrote a book about his life, the book Pimp About His Life. He talked about how those white women or those exotic women, they'll get around stables just to wreck the stables. They'll get in stables just to wreck it. And a lot of these exotic women, if they see a Black woman get elevated over them, they'll just go scorched earth. So Cassie was dating Diddy for over a decade. Her career didn't really advance much. She was just kind of in the background freaking off. That's what she liked to do, get peed on and freak off. Her career didn't really go anywhere. So Diddy stops dating her. So Diddy is now parading around young Miami, Carisha, who's a full foundational Black American woman. And this Black woman, this foundational Black American woman, he's supporting her career. He's not controlling her music career. She's signed to somebody else, but Diddy is still supporting her. Young Miami has a very popping career. Yeah, Cassie was a one-hit wonder, but Young Miami, Carisha, Diddy gave her a show. She has her own television show on Revolt. So now you got this full foundational Black American woman getting all this shine that she didn't get. Huh? Man, come on now. So that exotic jealousy pops in. You know, a lot of these exotic women, they feel entitled to long-term benefits. So you uplift an unapologetically FBA woman, that disrupts that racial hierarchy. So Diddy, I mean, he kept Cassie in the background for much of the relationship. Young Miami, you know, she's all on the red carpet and, you know, for real. He's, you know, putting her on out there. Cassie didn't get that kind of public support. And, you know, there's that exotic entitlement syndrome. In a lot of these racially ambiguous women, they assume that their proximity to whiteness, because I can almost guarantee that Cassie's paperwork says she's white. I believe racially, I know she don't say she's Black. But they think that proximity to whiteness or non-Black identity, that should kind of guarantee them a permanent pedestal. You understand? Especially in a Black man's life. So Diddy, he kind of defied that unwritten rule by basically showcasing a bold, loud, unapologetically Black woman like Young Miami. That's like betrayal. And listen, to those exotic women, see, a foundational Black American woman is not supposed to win. Young Miami is out here winning. You know, little brown-skinned gal. He's winning. People like her. She's country and ghetto, but people like her. She has a personality that people like. She's funny. She's witty, charismatic. They're doing sold-out concerts. People like her. They have a couple of hit records, a few hit records. So now, you know, you're not supposed to be the chosen one. You know, that messes with Cassie's ego. Well, so Cassie got replaced. Yeah. So now, when you lose cultural leverage, you start weaponizing the system. See, Cassie understands racial politics. That's why in some of those transcripts, Cassie's up here talking about some big black dick and all of that. They got into a little race play. Some of y'all didn't catch that in some of the transcripts. So when they start getting into that, fetishizing and race play. So when women like Cassie, they lose their exclusivity and they lose their status, they'll turn to the legal system. They start acting white. So they can reclaim their control. So they can start punishing folks. You know? Oh yeah, now they start acting white. You know? And so in today's climate right now, relationship dynamics, that's played out on social media. So Cassie had to watch Young Miami be flaunted and posted and praised publicly and globally. You know, so that breeds contempt and resentment. And just the optics of a darker skinned foundational Black American woman being chosen publicly. Come on, let's not ignore the color politics. Yeah, let's be real. Young Miami, let's be real. She's a little brown-skinned, dark brown girl. A very cute girl, ghetto and country, but she's not a bad-looking chick, brown-skinned chick. So she represents a part of Black womanhood that's supposed to be rejected in those elite spaces. So seeing somebody like that being chosen and elevated publicly after Cassie was kept on the sidelines, oh no. Oh, I got to let folks know I got proximity to whiteness. Yeah? See, it's not just about Diddy. It's about a status being lost. You know, yeah, that's a situation about status. And she's trying to reclaim her narrative after being outshined by somebody she thought would be less marketable. No, I'm talking about Carisha. Wait, what's Young Miami? Ain't Young Miami's name Carisha? What's JT's name? What's JT's name? JT's a cute little sister too. She's a little cute little hood chick. What's JT's name? Huh? But listen, there's a pattern in Hollywood relationships. See, there's a larger trend where a lot of women who were seen as trophy exotics, they start lashing out once their Black partner, they start embracing FBA women. See, it's not just personal, it's symbolic. See, that threatens that system that places these exotic women above the foundational Black American women in desirability. They really don't like Jatavia. Her name is Jatavia. Okay. Yeah, and they go find them a white man. Once that stock starts getting low, they get a white man, then they start trying to act white. Rosie Perez be kind of doing little stuff like that too, by the way. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of the white women, see these white women who done been with brothers and these exotic women that have been around brothers, boy, they feel like, well, Black women got to bow down, but move away, Black women. So yeah, they're the bee's knees. They're the ones who are the most desired. There's a post that I made that went viral of this white woman here. Hold on. And look, this white woman here allegedly put up this post. Hold on. And this went viral. It was like a Black girl's worst nightmare. So yeah, this white woman here. Now y'all know, let's be real. Now, white women like this, somewhere, there are going to be Negroes up on it. There's going to be some dusty Negroes up on this woman. I can imagine dusty Negroes have been pumping this woman's head up right here. Somewhere in the Midwest, somewhere, some dusty Negroes, they've been pumping this woman's head up, telling her how bad she is. So when she walks in the room, all eyes are supposed to be on her. So they think that they're supposed to be styling on FBA women. Yes, I know this woman looks like a busted can of biscuits. I know this. But dusty Negroes have elevated these women. Yes, I know this woman looks like a shaken bottle of Pepto-Bismol, but dusty Negroes elevate women like this. Yes, I know this woman looks like a honey-baked ham, but it's dusty Negroes that elevate women like this. You dig? These dusty-ass Miss Piggy-looking women, dusty Negroes elevate them and put them on a pedestal. Yes, I know she looks like a basket of Papa Do's bread, but yes, dusty Negroes elevate these women and they think they be shining on sisters. They think that all brothers are supposed to bow down to them. Yeah? Absolutely not. Yes, I know this woman looks like a pregnant flamingo, but no, all brothers ain't gonna bow down to this. Not at all. Yeah, they think they're styling and shining on FBA women. No, ma'am. This woman looks like a big chewed up piece of bubble gum, but no, all of us are not going to be checking for this at all. You understand? Good freaking grief. All right. Anyway, let me get up out of here, family. Let me get up out of here. It's been real. Listen, everybody, go to hiddenhistorymuseum.com. I was at the Hidden History Museum last night. There was some people, they had a birthday party there. Shout out to the people there. Some beautiful FBAs out there. Because we've been so booked at the museum. People rent the museum every weekend for events. And I met it was a lot of some OG hustlers. There was some OG hustlers there. It was a lot of old school cats coming in with fur coats. It was some old school players and hustlers who came through last night. It was somebody's birthday party. They rented out the museum. And I was talking to one brother who was there. And it was like, this brother was in his 70s. Real good brother. And he's like, man, this place brings tears to my eyes. Man, it's such a beautiful place, man. I'm just so proud of you. Just to have something like this fly in the community. I love stuff like that, man. People come in and their hearts are just filled when they come to the museum and just see how fly everything is. No, it was a birthday party, but it was some play. It was like some old school LA hustlers. Yeah, they came in with the gaiters and fur coats. It was a lot of hustlers, some old school hustlers from LA. They were real good though. They had a great time. They went there having a ball. But look, go to hiddenhistorymuseum.com. We got this book here, Hidden Heroes from A to Z. Hidden Heroes from A to Z. Also, make a contribution to the Hidden History Museum. We need everybody to make a little modest contribution. Everybody just puts a little something on it. Make a contribution to the Hidden History Museum, ladies and gentlemen. And go to rootworkstyle.com to get your Rootwork deodorant. All right. I'm up out of here. Puppy Akute. Lulla Vuve to the family. Go to majara.org to get your Majara sweaters, by the way. Majara.org. All right, I'm up out of here.